to catch all of this stuff, you know, not viruses and stuff like that, but pretty much everything else. You're in about this range, 85% for a MERV 13 air filter. So, you know, one of the things we can do, design, but then we can maintain dry spaces. We can measure the outdoor air. We can make sure our filters are cleaned and maintained well. And we can make sure that the equipment that we use, such as green cleaning chemicals or lack of chemicals, the big new thing in green cleaning is ionized water, which is great. It's like ionized water and use it to clean. No chemicals involved. And cleans just as well as most other chemical-based cleaners, and it's basically using water. Great improvement in the last few years. We really do think about this stuff. That's why we cause all these problems, so we got something to work on. So vacuums have come a long way in the last 10 years. You used to put out as much dust and junk as they sucked up. And now you can get really good vacuums with even HEPA filters in them. But please remember, as we move forward, we're all sitting here. This is a high-powered group. Lots of degrees, lots of smarts in the room. And we're talking about indoor air and healthy buildings. So keep up the good work. And thanks for being here today. If you need to contact me, I've got cards, brochures, and I'll be here all day. Thank you. So I'll just bring this up every once in a while so we can see what's it at. When I got here this morning, it was around 420. Parts are like same as outside. They might say that ventilation, I mean CO2 levels are around 380. In downtown Lansing, they're like 420.
I am Cynthia Purvis-Rowe, and I'm here to talk about ergonomics. Let me bring my slides up. And before I begin, I'd like everybody to get out a $1 bill. Yes, you can share. And we'll get to that a little bit later. I want to begin by thanking Gretchen Gescheidel at Herman Miller for inviting me. I've worked in the field of human factors and ergonomics for about 30 years. I, too, am now semi-retired, working as a consultant and doing presentations on ergonomics. So let's see. Great. So I'm going to cover 5 points very briefly. I'm going to cover the new pilot credit, the LEED pilot credit for ergonomics. I'm going to talk about the discomfort rates among computer users. I'll cover very briefly several decades of research on computer keyboards and computer displays. And I think the most interesting to this group, and it's been mentioned briefly, is the advances on what's now called inactivity physiology. So these are some quotes from the pilot credit for ergonomics. The purpose is to promote healthy, comfortable, and productive work by designing the workplace to accommodate its users. So what we're doing is applying ergonomics to the selection of furnishings, equipment like computers, and furnishings like adjustable desks, and education. The pilot credit refers to two major national standards, the American National Standard I was a contributor to that standard, also the Canadian Ergonomic Standard, as well as BIFMA, which is not a standard, it is an industry guideline. So, why ergonomics? Because the majority of people that use computers are in pain. These are statistics from studies all over the world. We hear a lot about carpal tunnel. The incident rate is actually a very small percentage. The big rates are in the eyes. 50 to 90% of people that use computers at some point have eye strain, eye irritation, eye dryness, blurred vision. 30 to 60%, and again, these numbers hold all around the world. Serious pain in the neck, the shoulders, down between the shoulder blades. I'm seeing a lot of nodded heads. So how many people have had discomfort in that area? Yeah. So research tells us, obviously, that people are more productive when they're not hurting. This was a seminal study done by Bill Dowell at Herman Miller. Herman Miller, Steelcase, other furniture companies spend millions of dollars on the design of chairs. Bill went out in the field, and the first position is that of somebody who is seated and reclined. This is a very healthy position for the spine. The second posture is an upright posture, also very recommended. What Bill found in the field is what people are doing a very high percentage of the time is hunched over, head out of alignment with the spine, and I call this the turtle. Please know that you'll probably never be able to get that image out of your mind, and you'll now be spotting your colleagues and going, you are doing the turtle. So I have had the privilege, through the work I did with HP, we worked with UC Berkeley, which is one of the greatest biomechanics labs in the world, and we spent 10 years working on the relationship between displays and neck and shoulder pain. And what we have learned is one of the challenges is that we are now using high definition, high resolution displays. When hardware, display manufacturers, and software manufacturers go talk to people of what they want to display, they always say, I want content. I want to be able to see a lot of documents. And so that's exactly what they give you. Okay, now it's time to pull out your $1 bill. So something you may not have realized is for us to get a lot of content on a display, the text needs to get really, really small. Trust me, I could give about 20 slides on the eyes right now. There's a lot of science about if you look at something at a particular distance, this is how high the font should be. When you boot up a computer, notebook or desktop, okay, I want you to go to the light green side, go to the line, "In God We Trust." I want you to fold the dollar bill so the T in trust is now right on the edge. If you have an iPad, a smartphone, a computer in front of you, and you're looking at text, I want you to put that T up against the text that you're currently reading. Most default programs come up with text that is 2 millimeters high, and that's what this T is. Oh, I'm not that, no, oh, this, actually, you just asked me an incredible question. This has nothing to do with point size.
But when you select the size, you're selecting it by point.
I'm getting there. Actually, when you pick a point size, you are telling the printer how high you want it when you print. So to get your text bigger, you are not going to change your point size. You're going to zoom. Most programs have the capability of taking what you're looking at and zooming. Most Microsoft programs, if you hit the control button and scroll the scroll wheel, it will make your font smaller and larger. So what the science is telling us is that at the distances that computer people look at, which is on the average about 26 inches, you should be looking between 3 and 4 millimeters. Keeping it simple, on money from the United States, the serial number on a 1, a 10, and a 20 is about 3.5 millimeters high. So this is connected to turtling. So what we have come to believe, and it's actually been proven now and it's published, is that what we do is your eyes, without you really knowing it, go, I can't see. So rather than keeping your head balanced over your spine, your eyes go, get closer. And this is what happens to your head. If I had you in a biomechanics lab and I had you all wired up, your muscles in your neck and your upper back are now firing. The next thing that happens is first your head comes forward, and then your back comes off the chair, and now you're in a full turtle. I work with turtles all the time. We also know there's a couple other reasons that people do the turtle. Viewing distance is too long. That also makes your font get smaller and smaller. We know that most people that use computers have uncorrected vision. They're not going to their eye doctor enough. We also know glare and difficult tasks do it. I know I turtle over teleconferences sometimes. So if you want to be a good ergo buddy, let your friends know they're turtling. And it's not just a matter of leaning back in your chair. It's a matter of grabbing your display and pulling your display towards you. What we're doing is we're letting the computer be in control, and we bring our body to the computer. We want it the other way around. You sit, you get comfortable, and then you pull that equipment towards you. Okay, we've been doing a lot of research for decades. This is a classic study. This photograph was taken at UC Berkeley. We are measuring muscle activity, we're measuring joints, and we're measuring the force users are hitting the keys. So we've got a lot of changes happening in the area of keyboards. We're seeing thinner keyboards, shorter travel, lighter touch, much easier on the soft tissues of the body. We're seeing alternative geometry, and I hope another 10 years, you're not going to see any keyboards with the numeric keypad still attached to them. That actually makes us reach for the mouse. It's called shoulder abduction. Again, a strain on the neck and the shoulder. So we want to modularize the numpad, hack it off, push it away when you're not using it so you can get your mouse in closer. So you've already seen this slide. Dick Jackson showed it. This is a version that was shown in 2011. The science I'm now going to talk about is called inactivity physiology. Ergonomists have been battling with companies to get internal ergonomics programs going. And they say, prove it to me. Prove to me that good ergonomics works. Well, this science in activity physiology is really changing everything, and it came out of research regarding diabetes. It's basically saying if you put in sitting is the new smoking into Google, you're going to get about 30 hits. And the man that's going to be quoted is Dr. Mark Hamilton from LSU. Second big guy in this research is Jim Levine. The chair is out to kill us is another quote I got in the popular press. Basically what we're learning is that if we sit too long, our physiology, the way our organs work with each other, slows down. There's an enzyme that breaks down our bad cholesterol. If we sit too long, that enzyme goes to almost inactive. And so what we're learning is the unsettling thing that Mark's science is teaching us. So if you sit and your physiology begins to slow down, and then you get up and begin to move, and it all kicks back in, if you have several dips during the day where your physiology is going inactive, and then you do cardiovascular exercise at the end of the day, it doesn't mitigate the fact that your physiology has gone inactive several times during the day. So the big change that we're seeing in ergonomics is move, move, move. We're recommending people stand 20 minutes every hour. So this will dramatically impact buildings, not only the furniture. I'm hoping that sitting-only desks will be completely gone 15 to 20 years, completely gone. That we'll see sitting standing desks. There's also another approach where the desk is at standing height all the time and you lean on a stool. The other thing I'm seeing great architects doing is encouraging people not only to take the stairs, but to say if you're having a meeting with just 2 or 3 people and you don't need a computer, there should be walkways outside. And I'm seeing some great boardwalks and sidewalks and walking paths outdoors. There's also the steel case treadmill desk. One of the interesting things they've learned about this desk is you can't put it against the wall. You have to turn it around. People don't like the idea of people walking by, watching them on the treadmill from behind them. So most companies do not have these as the primary desk. They just have some where you can take your laptop and you can walk for a little while. So this originally we were told we had 12 minutes, so I tried to cut a lot of slides down. I finish with this slide. We did this at HP. It was a program for children. And so we created the turtle. We created animals for all the different awkward postures. So don't be a turtle. Sit back and get comfortable. I would now make this say something like, don't be a turtle. Get up, stand up, and sit back and get comfortable. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much to all of our speakers today. I learned a lot, especially that I'm a turtle. That's not good. I actually did have an ergonomic assessment recently, and they told me that very thing, that I'm leaning forward. So maybe we should get our eyes checked. Is that a...
And bring the display closer
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other big tips for us turtles, other than moving the screen closer?
Well, the big one is, and I gave this a lot of thought. I was getting ready to give a keynote speech on the turtle, and I thought, what can we give people as a tool? And we didn't have a budget to produce something. And it dawned on me to start measuring the $1 bill. So literally, every program typically has Zoom, and really use this $1 bill and Zoom your character items. Richard?
What do you think of twin screens, 2 screens?
We've done a lot of research on dual monitors. That's a great question. And what dual monitors does is it adds a great positive in that you can be more productive with 2 displays. The challenge is that it adds rotation. And we know from research that people, 2, 3 displays, they want them farther away. Somehow people know that if you push them farther away, you'll eliminate rotation. The catch-22 is that you push it farther away, your size of it's called the arc angle of the font is even tinier. So it's even more important if you're using 2 or 3 displays to make sure you zoom your character height up.